Now, from the studios of Into Tomorrow in Miami, this is ITTV.
Our next guest helps companies and individuals build their digital future, transforming how we work, live, and play. And this week, they announced a whole new lineup of laptops. Vice President for Inspiron and Vostro Client Product Group with Dell Technologies is Kevin Terwilliger. Kevin, welcome into Tomorrow. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me, Dave.
And thank you, because I know it's late at night in Taipei for you, so we appreciate your ability to join us now. Lots of stuff happening. I mean, you had a very big press conference that we were involved in a week or so ago, and yet this past week you introduced even more cool new products. So tell us about the Inspiron line from Dell.
Yeah, it's been an exciting week for us for sure. Many products coming to market. And, I think what we're most excited about here is really our vision around helping people connect to their world and making these products very accessible to people. And so, I think what you'll see in our Inspiron lineup and our focus in this product line for Dell is really about achieving the right balance, the balance of giving great design, great performance, great experience, but doing that at a very accessible price point. And so lots of new products, all with that target that we just brought to market this week.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are very familiar over the years with Inspiron and being not only affordable, but cool designs and very helpful for business and personal use. So I'm wondering, for example, was there a particular inspiration behind this latest design refresh? I mean, people tend to think it's a laptop. How much more can you design? Well, but you can, and you did.
Absolutely. I think two things that I would talk about. One would be going back to accessibility or affordability. Well, we've actually brought that into many of the decisions we were making around the product as well. And things like making the keyboard easier to engage with larger keycaps and making it actually present itself when you open the system with a lift hinge, going to nearly borderless displays, implementing a larger touchpad, and also making it easier for people to engage with others through our new camera technologies that are really enhancing the low light correction and best-in-class microphones as we find ourselves more and more on video calls with our families. So all of that focused on making these products more accessible, more easier to use. And then also we looked a lot to nature to inspire our products as well, focused on our vision around, Dell has a moonshot goal around sustainability. And we've really begun to pay off that vision here with the Inspiron portfolio as well, moving to 100% recycled paper in our packaging, moving to bio-based plastics integrated into our products, as well as moving to low VOC or actually waterborne paints. And then, in fact, all of our colors in our portfolio are inspired from nature to make sustainability top of mind for our users. So those are really two things that have inspired our Inspiron portfolio, both pulling from nature and then overall accessibility in our product features.
I like the nature-inspired scenario there, too. That's pretty cool. Have you been having a lot of requests from customers in terms of sustainability, or is this something that the company is saying, we're making this effort on our own anyway? But I'm curious about, our customers demanding a sustainability effort.
Yeah, great question. It's absolutely coming from both sides. It is a mandate from within Dell because it's the right thing to do. And it is something that we feel that it's critical, being in the technology industry, to keep sustainability front and center when we're developing our products and continuing to push for making these products the most sustainable we can. But in addition to that, we also feel the pull from our customers. Both our partners, retailers that we work with and channel partners are telling us that this is a priority for their customers. And in all of our forms of customer feedback, the surveys that we're doing and focus groups and our many opportunities to engage with customers, they continue to tell us that that's a priority for them and something that they want to feel comfortable that this product aligns to their values around sustainability.
And I'm wondering, Kevin, what kind of changes have you seen over the last few years, for that matter, in terms of PC features that people are not only demanding, but how folks are using computers these days? Have you seen a change? I mean, the pandemic notwithstanding, and if we ever get back to whatever we air quote normal, but I'm just curious, as far as over the last several years, have you seen some major changes in how we use computers?
If I had $1 for every time somebody said the new normal over the course of this last year,
we'd be rich.
Man, I'd be so wealthy, right? Yeah. And we spend a lot of time talking about how COVID has changed the way that we work and play. But really, it really is true. And in fact, we've seen from a lot of our engagement with our customers that most of the users of an Inspiron are actually spending about 30% more time on their product. And so because of that, I mean, if you think about it, so much of our lives have become digital, become virtual. Not just the video calls where we're connecting with our friends and families, the virtual happy hours that we're joining.
Yeah.
But we're spending time buying groceries online. We're doing all of our shopping online. It just has become such a connection point into the world that people are spending more and more time. And with that comes heightened expectations around the performance of the system, the thermals of the system, the accessibility and the ease of use. And so all of that is absolutely driving the decisions that we're making to ensure that we meet that heightened expectation around our products. So I would say that's one of the biggest things that we've seen changing here very recently in usage of PCs.
And of course, a lot of folks were making those changes even before we ever learned what COVID was and is. So that's kind of cool because that trend had already begun. And of course, you folks at Dell were there making it happen and helping folks make those changes and more use of their PCs. And then it just was thrust upon us where, I got this because I'm already doing some of that. I'm just going to do more of it now in terms of ordering from my computer as opposed to going to shop and that kind of thing. So that's interesting. Want to remind our audience, especially the radio audience, visit us at intotomorrow.com, not only to see Kevin's interview and see Kevin, but also the laptops that we're talking about. So now, if you will, Kevin, let's get into the new Inspiron products that Dell just launched this week. What are they? Who are they for? And I know there's a plethora of folks that can use some new laptops. So let's get into what you got for us.
Yeah, we have a range of products starting all the way from $329, all the way up to $1,200. So really a broad range of products designed for these different use cases that people have. The first product I'll talk about is the Inspiron 14 2-in-1. And going back to how people's use cases have changed over the course of the last couple of years, we see the adoption of 2-in-1s continuing to grow, especially as people's engagement into those virtual environments is driving a more dynamic need for their PC. So that Inspiron 14 2-in-1 enables you to adapt the system to be, tent mode, tablet mode, traditional PC mode, all those different things, and based on your use cases. And the way I like to think about it is that product's really built for, the chameleon connector, the person that can adapt to any different social situation. Now they're doing it virtually. This product is really built for that. In addition to giving you the flexibility of the different ways to use the system, we also have a great display built into this product with a really wide viewing angle, FHD resolution, and again, those nearly borderless displays that we've implemented across the Inspiron portfolio. So that's the first one I'll talk about. The next one is our Inspiron 16 Plus. It's actually the first product in our Inspiron Plus lineup, and this product goes all the way up to pretty significant discrete graphics, all the way up to H-class higher wattage processors. And it's really designed for those creators, those people who need more performance for all of their big ideas. This product is also the first product that Dell offers that is a 16-inch which is a little bit of a new trend in the marketplace. And what's I think most exciting is we've actually delivered upon, if you look at moving from a 15-inch system that we would have had in the previous generation, we're able to give about 11% larger viewing area for only about 5% larger actual chassis. Wow. And all the way up to an 89% screen to body ratio. I'm not sure how much all those numbers resonate with some of the people listening, but an 89% screen to body ratio is pretty significant. And so, ultimately you see how a 16-inch form factor really becomes more of an optimized product. And product form factor. So we see that as a trend moving forward.
I think it's a good example of how, in this case especially, size does matter. And depending on your use, especially if it's business or design or editing, I can think of a number of reasons why just going from a 15-inch to a 16-inch would make a huge difference for a lot of people. So I think again, size does matter, and whether it's the numbers or just folks having an opportunity to see it are going to say, oh, this is it. I got to do this.
Absolutely. And with the 16-inch, that display becomes even more important. So we offer a 3K display, 300 nits brightness, a lot of great features that we've built into the display for that product as well. And then finally, really the core of our portfolio, we also have an Inspiron 13, 14, and 15. Across these products, you can really choose the right screen size for you and your needs. Obviously, the 13-inch being a little bit more geared towards the people who are moving around more within their house or being more mobile. And then that 15-inch for, needing that larger screen size. And products come stacked with the latest 11th gen Intel core processors. And, tied with that, we also ensure that you have enough battery life to be moving around with these products as well, and have implemented Express Charge, a technology from Dell that will give you up to 80% charge in 60 minutes. And then finally, going back to that accessibility I talked about, one of the things we've implemented here is actually a sensor in the hinge that actually recognizes when you open the display and automatically wakes the system. And then we have a fingerprint reader so that very quickly you can just get in and get connected right away. Just one more feature that makes these products more accessible. So those are a couple of the great products in our portfolio. And again, if you guys want to check them out on the website here, I know we have some videos that we'll be showing as well to show some of these great features.
Oh, for sure. And you mentioned, Kevin, the battery life has improved dramatically. And that obviously is very important to a lot of people who need to use laptops back when they're able to go back in the field or travel. Remember travel? I vaguely remember traveling, but we used to, for example, for the show, travel a lot all year round. Way too many miles that I'll probably never use. But the fact is, we still need to get out there. We still need to be in the field, whether it's doing work or learning or whatever the case. And battery life plays perhaps more of an important role these days than ever before. So delighted to hear how you've been able to improve that and make the rapid charging helpful to a lot of people as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even for people who are just, moving around within their house, not having to search for a power plug.
True.
As we move back into an environment of travel, we still find that people really value that longer battery life, even if they aren't necessarily being mobile to the extent of traveling on an airplane.
Yeah. And let's talk a minute, too, about the 2-in-1 PCs and the overall popularity. Do you find more and more people leaning that way and finding that that kind of opportunity as a feature for a laptop really makes a difference in their lives, however they may be using it?
Yeah, we do. I mean, right now, 2-in-1s are outpacing the rest of the market from a growth perspective. So people are valuing that feature set. And I think it's a combination of both the 2-in-1 hinge and being able to use it in tablet mode and being able to use it in tent mode. Yeah. But then in addition to that, it's just the touch functionality. And we see more and more consumers really valuing touch. It's one of those things that, when you sit back and think, you might question a little bit of, how will I use touch if it's not in a tablet mode? But then once you start to use it here and there, navigating a website or clicking through your inbox, it's one of those things like you can't imagine going back to not having touch. So, a combination of that along with 2-in-1, and then we offer some great pen functionality for people who want to be able to do inking. That's another thing for people who are in a virtual environment. You don't have the opportunity to walk up to a whiteboard or, an opportunity to engage with people in that way. So using the system for inking and sharing that virtually has also been a use case that we've seen more and more people adopting.
Another great example. And I like the discussion about touch as well. But if you're like me, then you get back to your other computer and you're trying to touch the non-touch screen because you've gotten so used to it now, and you realize how handy it is and how helpful it is. So that's fine. Then you need to replace that computer as well. So you might as well take advantage of these kinds of features. These days, how often, Kevin, do folks change their computers, do you think? Whether it be a desktop, a laptop, a 2-in-1, whatever the case, have you found a particular trend or a particular reason why most people are saying time to upgrade?
Yeah, it's a range for sure. In general, depending on the demographic a little bit, depending on how much of an early adopter somebody might be, it generally falls within a range of 3 to 5 years. And a lot of it is geared towards pretty dramatic improvements that we're seeing gen over gen in performance. And, ultimately the innovation curve that we're seeing in PCs has just been accelerating. And that's not just performance, but it's other things around the camera technologies. I talked before about, some of the enhancements we have around low light correction within our cameras. That's just one example of the many things that even in a single generation is improving dramatically. And we're seeing, PCs be more aligned to some of the refresh cycles, more like a smartphone, and how people are buying a smartphone based on a new camera technology or a new display technology, moving closer to that 3-year range.
Well, and of course, another good reason to upgrade is because Dell just announced a new line of Inspiron laptops. So that's a good reason. So you want to check them out by all means. Visit Dell.com/Inspiron. Of course, we'll get you there when you visit intotomorrow.com. You'll be a mouse click away from what Kevin and his team are up to. Kevin, you're a delight to chat with. I love the fact that the new models go from $329 up to $1,200. Clearly something for everyone, whether it's a student, young student, older student, whether it's for business, for home, for personal use. There is a range of cool products. Be sure to check out the 2-in-1s, among other things, too. And we thank you for spending a few minutes with us from Taiwan, and keep up the good work. You guys are always innovating, I think, and doing some unique things and adding some cool features. That's reason enough to upgrade a lot of times as well. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for your time, and congratulations on 26 years as well with your intro. I think that's pretty phenomenal, continuing to drive the industry. But great to talk to you today, and look forward to hearing everybody's feedback on our Inspiron products.
Terrific, and look forward to having you back, because no doubt it won't be long before you have yet another new line of laptops, or even a couple of other features introduced, or something else to talk about. We'll be excited to get you back on, so appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good one.
And you too. Now, of course, Dell.com/Inspiron is where you want to go, and we'll get you there, as I mentioned, when you visit us at intotomorrow.com. Be sure to come by, look at the video of Kevin's interview. We're showing you all these cool laptops and cool features as well. So right away, you can kind of pre-shop from our interview and then say, that's the one I want, and then go get it, which you could do on their site, of course, and any number of places and stores and everything. Intotomorrow.com. I'm Dave Graveline. We're back with more. Stay tuned right here on the Advanced Media Network.